hope everyone's doing well, staying safe. For this video, we are going to be doing the strategy of a picture walk, and I will be using the Very Hungry Caterpillar to do a picture walk. A picture walk has three main purposes. The first is to front load information and vocabulary to the students prior to a lesson or prior to getting into and reading the text. It also helps the students build comprehension, and it builds language skills. In a picture walk, you would just show them the picture. You would not read first, you would just show each picture of the book or the text and have the students tell you what they see and what they observe. So the students have to use a lot of descriptive language. So to start the picture walk, you would show them the cover and read them the title. In this case, I would say we're reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. What do you see on the cover? What do you think the story is about? You can get them to make predictions about what the story would be about based on the cover. And then you would go through each page one by one and show the pictures of the story. And it's important to let students tell you what they observe and what they see in each picture. They can make predictions on what's going to happen in the story from the pictures. Let the students ask you questions. And then the teacher should also be asking higher order thinking questions or probing questions to get students to really look at the picture and see what's happening. So we will go ahead and start the picture walk. So we're going to be reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, but before we read, we're going to go on a picture walk and we're going to look at the pictures in the story to see what is going to happen or what is happening. So look at the cover. What do you see? I see a caterpillar. And the story is called The Very Hungry Caterpillar. So what do you think the story will be about? What do you think the problem will be in the story if the title is called The Very Hungry Caterpillar? The students will answer questions or make their predictions. And any questions that students have that you don't know or the other students don't know because you don't want to give everything away, I would write them, or my para would write them on the whiteboard or on some chart paper, and we would go back to it later. Because after you go through the pictures, you will actually read the story. So let's look at the first picture in the story. What do you see? I see something white. It's kind of like an oval shape. And what is it on? It's on a leaf. I wonder what that is. What do you think that is? You see a moon? Well, I see that the moon has a face on it. Why do you think they chose to put a face on the moon? Does the moon really have a face in real life? No, but this is a book, so maybe they wanted to make it more fun. You know what I notice about the moon is when the moon is usually out, what time of day is it? Is it daytime or nighttime? Oh, it's nighttime. Well, I also see the dark sky behind it. Let's go to the next page. This page is very different from the other one. What do you see? And the students might say, I see a sun, or I see a caterpillar, and so I would go back and I would say, you know, we first saw a little white oval shape, and then we saw a caterpillar. So what do you think happened? They might say that it was an egg, they might not. It depends on how much they know already about caterpillars. Oh. What do we see now? Might say they see the other half of the sun. They might say that the caterpillar is standing up. If they don't notice that, then I would kind of bring it up and I would say, well, it looks like he's trying to stand up. When do you think caterpillars would try to stand up? Maybe if something is high enough and they can't reach it, or they want to eat it, or maybe if they're excited. So what do you think he's standing up for? Why do you think he's standing up? Just kind of get them thinking, and then I would point their attention to these pictures and ask them, what are these? What do you see? And then I'd say, okay, well, we see an apple, but look, this apple has a hole in it. Why does it have a hole in the apple? And then how many apples do you see? They see one. But when I flip the page, it's not just one piece of fruit anymore. How many pieces? And they would count, it's two. And then I'd also say, well, what do you notice about these two pieces of fruit? And they would hopefully say that they have holes in it and ask them, well, why do you think they have holes in it? And then I kind of keep going through that process to kind of get them to realize that each piece, oh look, he's coming out of the pear. So why do you think he's coming out of the pear, out of that hole? What's happening? And then I would kind of go through that to see, if they could connect that the pieces of fruit go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and they still have holes in it, and look, every time he's crawling out of one, so what is he doing? And hopefully they would say that he's eating it, because there he is again, and then we count all these pieces of fruit, say that they have holes in them. Maybe he's eating them, because remember, the title of the story is called The Very Hungry Caterpillar, so he's hungry. And then we get to this page, and oh my goodness, what do you see? I don't see a lot of fruit anymore, because it used to just be only fruit, and now I see lots of foods. What kind of foods do you see? Let them tell me all the foods that they see. Count all the foods, and then also, if they haven't noticed it, direct their attention to what do you notice about all of these foods? All of these foods have something in common. What is it? They all have holes in it. Well, what do you think he's doing with these foods? Why do they have holes in it? If these foods had holes and we think he was eating these foods, what do you think is happening here? So hopefully they would say that he's eating these foods too, and then we would talk more about well, he has to be very full. What do you think is going to happen to him? Is he going to get too full? What happens to you when you get full? Just kind of keeping talking and prompting. And then this next page, what do you see? I don't see any food anymore. What do you see? See a leaf? What do you notice about the leaf? The leaf has holes. I wonder why he chose to eat a leaf instead of eating more foods. Let's see if they can answer that question just based on the pictures that they see. And what do you see? The caterpillar. What is the caterpillar doing? Looks like he's walking away. This is a really fun page to stop at because their eyes get big. And so I would say, well, what do you notice now? Look, when we were on this page, look at the caterpillar. What did he look like? He looked small, he looked tiny, he looked little. And now, what does that caterpillar look like now? Is he still small? No. He's large, he's big. Well, how did he get big? He ate all that food. Oh my goodness, do you think his tummy feels good because he ate all that food? No, he might have a tummy ache. Things like that. And then I would say, well, that's the caterpillar. What is this? What is that? What do you notice about it? What color is it? It's brown. It's brown and it's, I don't know, is that big or small? It's big. And so then I kind of want to get their attention directed to well, this caterpillar is very big. And this thing looks very big. It almost looks like the same size as the caterpillar. What do you think this is? Why do you think it's here? What does it have to do with the story? Get them to kind of think about it and see if they can connect that it has something to do with the caterpillar. It might be his house or his cocoon or his chrysalis. Okay, well, what do you think is going to happen next? And then, oh my goodness, turn into a butterfly. Look at that. And then, what do you see about the butterfly? What do you notice? What do you think happened from this page to this page? And so that would be the end of our picture walk, and then we would actually go through and read the story. And then any questions that were not answered, we would ask them again, and hopefully from reading the story and really getting into the pictures of it, they'd be able to answer this time. So after we read the story, I would show my students that I had these picture cards, and I would let them know that these picture cards are the same pictures in the book in our story, but they're out of order. And so I need help, or it would be their job to help me put all of these picture cards in order of the story, how it was told. So it would be a whole class activity. They would all be sitting in a circle, and I would pick volunteers, 1 or 2, to help put the story in order. Now, if they don't, by this time we've read the story or we've seen the pictures twice, so they should be able to kind of piece it together as a whole class, and if not, we will always refer back to the book. So once we have all of these in order on the floor, I would ask a volunteer, choose a volunteer to do a story walk, which would be, if these are on the floor in the right order of the story, they would step either on it or beside it, and they would retell the story in order. So they would be on the first picture, and they would be able to retell it and say, there was a small egg that laid on a leaf. Out came a caterpillar. He was hungry, so he ate an apple. He ate 2 pears. He ate, whatever, so on and so forth. His stomach hurt, so he ate a leaf, and he felt much better. He wasn't a small caterpillar, he was a big caterpillar. He made a chrysalis or a cocoon, and then he turned into a butterfly. So they would retell the story, and after they retold the story, I would leave the example picture cards like they are, and then I would split my group of kids up into groups of 3, and I would give each group a set of the story cards that are out of order. So it would be their job to put them in order. And again, if they need a reference, they can look at the cards that we did as a whole group. So they would put them in order, and then each one of the group members would take turns jumping or stepping or walking on each picture of the story and retelling it. And they cannot go to the next picture until they have told what was on this page. So they couldn't skip pictures, they have to actually tell the whole story. And each group member would have a turn, and so during that time I would be walking around making sure that they are telling it in the right order, that they're telling it in the correct sequence, that they're not skipping pages, that they're using correct terms of vocabulary like a chrysalis, making sure that they understand that this was an egg, and then out of the egg the caterpillar hatched, things like that. So that would be our picture walk. And for older grades, you could use it for social studies or science, really any subject. For older grades, if you're going to get into maybe like a history lesson on colonies or colonization, you could maybe put different political cartoons on the board for all the students to see, and you could talk about it and kind of have them predict what they think the lesson's going to be about, or the teacher could kind of give them some information just regarding the lesson or about colonization or different colonies from that political cartoon. And it's like a really good visual first step for them to know like what they're getting into, and to have kind of like a solid background image or information from the lesson. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, it could really be done for any grade level or any subject. You can just be really creative with it. And I have done this before with my class, and they really enjoy it. They especially enjoy doing the story walk. It gets them really involved in it. So, thanks.